Hi guys, welcome. This is video presentation number 7 and it's going to be on the actual network marketing process. So we're finally going to get into the nuts and bolts of building this business. Okay, so whether you build your business online or you're using offline traditional methods, the process is very similar actually. It's also very similar between different network marketing companies. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with this process to some extent. In a nutshell, this is what it looks like. You invite people, you schedule with them, you present to them, you follow up with them, and then you finally close them. Okay, very simple and very straightforward. Okay, so let's go into more detail here. Okay, the invitation. The invite should be short and sweet. Keep it under 3 minutes if you can. In fact, if you can master telling your story in 1 to 2 minutes, that is ideal. They call that your elevator pitch. All right, so if you guys haven't done that yet, I highly recommend you master telling your story in under 2 minutes. It's very, very valuable, especially for this stage. Another piece of advice that I would recommend is Eric Worre's advice, and it's the if I would you. So what does that mean exactly, right? If I were to show you this video, would you watch it? Or if I were to provide you with this pamphlet, would you read it? It's basically a way of getting a commitment from the prospect that they're going to do what you're asking them to do. And as simple as that sounds, it's actually really valuable and it works really well. And as soon as I learned it, I put it into play and it really is a very valuable piece of information. So I highly recommend it. Another thing about the invitation is you always want to schedule. Schedule either the follow-up or the presentation. Schedule it the best that you can because you don't want to leave things open-ended. You don't want to say, oh, okay, well, take a look at this video and I'll follow up with you in a few days. Or you call me in a few days. Because they're never going to call you back, actually. So you want to actually be in control of the schedule, which actually leads me into the next schedule. Anytime you schedule, whether it's the follow-up or the presentation or wherever you are in the process, you always want to remain in control. So how do you accomplish this? So you do that by actually providing your prospect with dates and times that they can choose. And they simply choose a date and time that works best for them. And as long as it works best for you, you pencil it in and now you know exactly when you're going to be meeting back up. Okay? Now let me tell you why this is very, very beneficial for you. If you don't schedule them, and you leave things out in the open, and you say, oh, take a look at this video, and you get back to me after you watch it or whatnot, after a few days. Well, what happens is a few days goes by, and you end up calling that prospect, and they haven't quite found the time to watch the video yet. So you say, oh, okay, it's no problem, just whenever you watch it, just get back to me, let me know what you think, or this and that. And I'm so guilty of this in the beginning, and I'm kicking myself for doing this, but... So then what ends up happening is they never watch the video or they just lose interest at that point, right? Because too much time has passed. So how do you avoid that? You simply avoid that by scheduling them in. You schedule them in and it actually creates a commitment on their end to watch the video because they want to watch the video and then, have already watched it by the time you guys meet, right? So that's why I think it's super important to schedule a date and time that's within 1 or 2 days from the invitation, okay? So that way you're piquing the prospect's curiosity and you are capitalizing on that by actually meeting with them within a couple days where they're still, curious, they're still interested. And if you present at that time, which leads us into the next topic, then you actually are in a way better stance when it comes to presenting your material. So you want to utilize that momentum you're building right off the bat. And that's my best advice to you is to keep it within a few days so that their curiosity is still piqued. Okay, that's a very big benefit to you. All right, so the next piece of information I want to share with you is you want to keep your presentation straight and to the point. Don't talk for like 3 hours about your company and its products and how amazing they are. It's overwhelming for people if they have to sit for more than an hour, basically. So definitely keep it concise and to the point, okay? You also want to utilize your company resources the best that you can. most likely your company has some type of video or pamphlet or presentation that you could follow, and that helps you be consistent with these presentations, and it also helps your downline be duplicatable as well. It's a process that you could follow, and anytime you could follow a process in this industry especially, the better off you are. All right, so I highly recommend utilizing those resources the best that you can, okay? So I'm gonna touch on these main points that I feel should be in your presentation, okay? And you should not spend more than 5 minutes on each of these 4 at least. And that's your company story, the products, the main compensation, and then any bonuses, trips, or incentives. All right, touch on each of those for 5 minutes and no more, because it does get overwhelming for people. And you want to touch on the most important ones and the biggest benefits to keep that high in their mind, right? So then that also leaves you a lot of time to start asking questions for the people that you're presenting to, whether it's one or a group or whoever. And I'm sure you guys have heard this acronym. It's called FORM, and it stands for Family, Occupation, Recreation, and Money. And this is basically a structure that you can follow to ask questions that'll help you understand the background of the person. And they're very valuable to that person, right? So for instance, are you married? Do you have kids? Do you own your own home, or do you rent? Find out a little bit of their background in that regard. Do they work? Do they like their job? What do they like about it? Do they hate it? Do they hate working a 9 to 5, right? Recreation. Are they in soccer, sports? Do they have any hobbies? What do they do in their spare time, right? Money. What is their motivation for money? Are they happy? Are they content where they are in their life? Are they saving up for their retirement? Do they have a college fund for their kids? There's all these motivations for people that you can unlock by asking certain questions. And this is a really powerful tool to use. And I actually recommend, the first 20 minutes or half an hour on the presentation part of your company and stuff like that, and then ask questions of your prospects. Because the better you can understand your prospect, the better you can tailor either the presentation or the benefits to them, right? And not to mention, you can also kind of weed out the people that maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for, whether it's the product or if you're trying to recruit them or sponsor them into the company. It may not make sense if they don't have the motivation, right? So this is all very valuable stuff. The schedule after the presentation is even just as important as scheduling the presentation. You want to schedule the follow-up with these people within a few days, actually, for the same reason as when you schedule within a few days of the invitation. You want to keep that momentum built. You want to keep that curiosity and interest peaked. You want to utilize that to your advantage, okay? The follow-up is often underestimated. And actually, the fortune is in the follow-up, as Eric Worre mentions. It really is, because during your presentation, the prospects getting a ton of information, they may be overwhelmed, they may not be making a decision right then and there, or be ready to make a decision right then and there. So the follow-up is going to give them time to actually process what you presented to them, okay? And this is very important, because in the follow-up, you want to make sure all their questions are answered, okay? You don't want them to have any doubt in their mind about your company or about the products. You really want to make sure all of their questions are answered before you move to the close, okay? And the most important thing is you always want to schedule these, whether it's the follow-up, like I said, the presentation, all that stuff. And same thing with the close. You want to schedule the closing. All right, so get a commitment on the date and say, okay, well, in a few days or whatnot, we'll meet and we'll discuss this if it's a good fit for you, right? And then at the close, you always want to close, okay? Whether it's a yes or a no, you want to close that prospect. or as they say, the prospect may close you if they say no, right? Which is fine. They may not be ready for your opportunity or for your product, or they may just not be interested or just may not be a good fit for them, right? And that's okay. The best thing about keeping control of the whole process is that you are in control and you get it done. You actually get the process done in a set amount of time. If you could do the whole process within a week, then even if you get a no, you move right on to the next prospect, right? So it's really not a huge impact if you're in control of it. But it gets to be a big deal if you're stretching it out for months and months at a time and you still haven't gotten a decisive answer from the person. You definitely don't want to be in that position. I've been in that position and it's horrible. So anyways, using the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. I'm a huge, huge fan in business, in my life even, with this method. Really, there's no sense in wasting anybody's time. You either are interested or you're not. You know, it may not be the right time for you or for whatever reason, okay? And like I said, it is okay. It's perfectly fine. And you want to create a sense of urgency because you do care about your business. You're trying to build your business. You want to share the products with people or share the opportunity with people. You don't want to waste a whole bunch of time. So create a sense of urgency for this person, and they'll know that you're taking your business very serious, okay? So this is a pretty important aspect to the whole thing. The most important aspect, though, I feel, is to always thank your prospect, okay? Whether they say yes or no, or join as a customer, or as a recruit, or as a sponsor, you know, you want to thank them for their time. Because this is your business. You would not be in business without people like them, right? They are driving your business actually. And you need to recognize that and you need to be very thankful for that. So always thank them for their time, and you always want to maintain the utmost professional rapport with this person, even if they say no, because down the road they may be interested if they see that the products are working so awesome for you, or your business is really taken off and things are working great. A year down the road, they may circle back and you left it at a very good, you know, situation. So last but certainly not least, you want to master these processes, okay? The invitation, scheduling, presenting, following up, and closing. Master each one of these processes. If you struggle or your downline struggles with any one of them, you want to master them. I love this Bruce Lee quote because this really highlights that big time. He says, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." And I love that because it really is true. If you practice any one of these processes 10,000 times, you're going to become a master of the process, right? So with that, if you're struggling, you know, definitely practice, and that's what it's all about. So I hope you guys found value in this video. I'm excited to get into actually helping you guys start building this business, and I'm really, really excited about sharing what I've recently learned about building this business, and that's taking your business online. And I'm going to be talking more and more about that throughout these weeks and these videos and such. And it's really, really powerful stuff. If you guys are not online yet, really consider going online because it is the future. The future's already here actually. So it's actually almost like you're catching up to where we all should be. So with that said, I hope you guys found value and liked this video. If you did, please like, comment, and share as usual. And I'm looking very forward to doing the next video with you. So until then, I will see you soon. Have a great week.